In this week's BlizzPro Weekly, WoW Patch 5.3 is ramping up to release soon, the WCS Season 1 is approaching its finals, the auction house had a gold duping bug in Diablo 3, and how important is conscious capitalism in gaming? Holy shit, guys! How long has it been now, right? I missed you. I'm talking to Paul, our cameraman. I can't see the rest of you. It's just a camera. But anyway, and you missed me, right? And you know, things look a little different. The window dressing's a little different, right? I always thought I looked good in red. I guess I look good in front of red. So yeah, it's BlizzPro Weekly now. I'm still your host, Chris Arnone, the beard. Fantastic, yes, still with me. All right, so some shit went down, some things changed. I'm not going to rehash it here, okay? We're moving on, we're moving up. We're still making amazing content. In fact, maybe even better content now. So that's simply the gist of it. The vast majority of the crew has now come over to BlizzPro. These videos are still happening, still, you know, look a little different, but it's the same Chris Arnone weekly show that you know and love. All right, let's get it going. Let's talk World of Warcraft.
Here's the beef.
So WoW Patch 5.3 is approaching quickly, and this week there have been a whole bunch of developer interviews on various fan sites and press sites, and of course based on the previous track record with this, that means we're probably just a couple weeks away from the launch. Now, some more info about 5.3. It is not going to be a raid patch, but more story driven. Now in this patch you can expect the aggression against Garrosh to start to escalate around Orgrimmar, and of course you can help the Darkspear Rebellion to start undermining the current Horde War Chief's efforts. Now even though this isn't a raid patch necessarily, it doesn't mean that the content is going to be skimped on. We're going to see several new scenarios for players to take part in, introduction to heroic scenarios, a new battleground, and a new arena, and the Brawlers Guild and pet battles are going to get some significant updates as well. I know JR is crazy excited. More pet battle updates, you know, it's just, he just wants to play Pokemon or World of Warcraft. That's really what it comes down to, and he's just thrilled by that. So BlizzPro is going to have, of course, a list of all of these developer interviews, everything you need to know, and a little handy guide of everything coming along in patch 5.3, so you can hit the ground running when that thing drops here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Let's talk StarCraft 2.
Want a piece of me, boy?
So some big news in esports recently with Idra. Now, for those of you not in the know, living under a rock of esports, Idra, famous Western player, been a part of Evil Geniuses for a long time. Well, some shit went down. During the American Premier League in the WCS, Evil Geniuses pro player Idra went 0-4 and was dropped to the Challenger League. Now, on a Team Liquid thread, some of the fans were talking about what happened, and he responded, and I quote, "Nope, you're all a bunch of fucks. It just so happens I get paid to treat you like it. It's fucking awesome." Now, this came after an incident a few weeks ago, when during a match, he told another player, I shit you not, another quote, "I genuinely hope something bad happens to you, like get cancer or something," before he quit the game. Now, Idra has had a problem in the past with some bad manners, and it seems that this was the final straw. The sponsors had some issues, and they pressed Evil Geniuses to get rid of the baggage, and so they did. Now, Idra said in the past he doesn't really enjoy the game anymore, and it's possible he was lashing out as a result of that. He said he will no longer play the game competitively, but he's still interested in staying with the esports, maybe being a caster, analyzer for tournaments. And he's a big name in the West, and at one time he was one of the best foreigners. Personally, fuck him. If he's going to be an asshole, go work at Walmart. Go the fuck away. I don't want to say your name on this show ever again. Moving on. Let's talk better stuff in WCS. Now, they are starting to approach their Season 1 finals. The round of 8 just finished up in Korea with SOS, Soulkey, Innovation, and Symbol advancing to the quarterfinals. Round of 16 in Europe is finishing up tonight while we're filming, which means it'll be done by the time you actually watch this. So the most surprising part of this has been that Nanawa, who's been really dominant in StarCraft 2, and particularly Heart of the Swarm for a while, unable to win a single match in this group in the round of 16 and will not advance. Now the round of 16 for America region, or as we're nicknaming it, Korea Region 2, since 11 of the 16 players are South Korean. Sorry, anyway, so that's starting next week, and 2 North American players are advancing to the round of 16. That's Canadian player Scarlet and American player Suppy. So personally, I'm not digging this whole regions that aren't really regional thing. But anyway, Now, the WCS matches are going on almost every single weekday in all regions, so there's almost never a night when you don't have some really cool StarCraft 2 action to watch. Be sure to check out Twitch TV/WCS. Check out BlizzPro every Monday for a This Week in Esports, where we go over the current rankings in all the different WCS regions. All right, Diablo time.
Stay a while and listen.
Happy birthday to Diablo. Oh yeah, seems like just yesterday we were all sitting around our computers waiting for midnight just so we could get that Error 37 message thrown back in our faces. Oh, good times. But anyway, this week we've been celebrating the 1-year birthday, anniversary, whatever, of Diablo 3. Big things going on BlizzPro, all right? Sponsorship with SteelSeries, huge sale on Diablo 3 items. I mean, personally, I use the headset. I know I tweeted about it. You know, it's a cool headset. Paul uses the mouse that SteelSeries makes. Some good quality products, nice Diablo 3 branding. Now, unfortunately, by the time you get to watch this show, all those sales will probably be over. But they were pretty cool, so... all right, you know, we'll do something again in the future. Now, there are several developer interviews that have been done by the community in the last couple days about the game and how it has progressed over the last year. And we're going to be putting all those together for you on the site so you can go and read all of those cool things. Now, despite the rocky start and the muddy waters that have come along over the past year, you got to say the game is shaped up to be pretty damn fun. Now, if you haven't played it since the first month or two, you were one of those people, oh, I hate it, I'm quitting. You know what, it might be time to dust off. Okay, JR wrote CD-ROM, seriously, who bought a CD? You just downloaded it. Dust off the game, check it out. It's almost like a completely new experience. That said, recently there were some issues that happened with patch 1.0.8. Came out a week ago, and with it, one of the last minute changes was changing the gold stack sold on the auction house from 1 million to 10 million. Now, there ended up being a really nasty bug, and about 415 players took advantage of it and duped trillions in gold in a matter of hours. Now, Blizzard quickly responded. They squashed the bug, they locked down the auction house, but they did not do a rollback. All right, now this was, I know, all over Twitter and social networks when this was happening. Now, the reason is because it was such a small percentage of players that did the duping. Keep in mind, you needed billions in gold to begin with to even make the trick worth your time. They decided to punish those players individually. Now, as of last week, during this last update, 85% of the duped gold was removed from the game, and the players that had done the duping had action taken against their accounts. Now, any real money sales that were made by Blizzard is donating all of it to the Children's Miracle Network, including transaction fees that Blizzard itself collected. So talk about cleaning up from your mistakes. That's a hell of a way to do it. All right, enough with the complimentary stuff. It's time for a new, you missed it, BlizzPro Bitch Session. So, some shit went down recently with YouTube and Nintendo. They recently started putting up stuff about, YouTube monetary claims. Now, this is really targeting the Let's Play crowd. Lots of Let's Play games out there, or videos. Now, if you're not sure what that is, it's basically where somebody sits down, talks on a mic, plays through a game, records the whole thing, and, sort of talks you through a whole section of a video game. Now, Nintendo was not the first one to do this. EA, Activision, Square Enix, there's a lot of them that do this. Now, personally, when I was doing a few of these videos, I found out certain things like you need to skip your cutscenes because those aren't interactive parts. They can lay copyright claim to that. Or if there's music, see, the music isn't interactive. That's written by someone, so you have to kill the soundtrack on your recording. Now, so I'm not sure exactly how deep the Let's Play is going, if that's sort of the thing we're talking about, or if it's going to be all Nintendo content no matter what. But the whole idea is they're not doing copyright strikes or taking the videos down, but it's simply whoever put up the video will no longer get the monetization, and they'll now be putting Nintendo advertisements at the beginning and ends of those videos, and Nintendo will then make the money. Now, of course, a lot of people are really pissed off about this. And in some ways, I can see it. In some ways, not. Now, a lot of the argument is with Let's Play is it helps to sell games. People are curious about games, they go watch some videos on YouTube, and that helps sell it. But honestly, if you're talking Nintendo, and especially the games they're targeting, which are big first-party titles, they don't really need that much help. Their console needs help, but their games, their first-party titles, those things sell like crazy. It's much more a big deal for independent people, smaller publishers, smaller developers, indie guys, to get their stuff out there in Let's Plays. That does so much to help those games sell. With the big boys, it's hard to say. However, this comes down to something that's a little more endemic. It's a much bigger issue, and that is the idea of conscious capitalism. Not my word. You can go look it up. The guy behind Whole Foods, kind of has that terminology. But it's the whole idea that if you have a business, but you focus on the people, you focus on doing great things, the money will follow. Now, when it comes to gaming, I like to put on a pedestal somebody like Atlas. All right, they make amazing games. They make games for their fans. And you know what? People buy the damn things. The Persona series is huge, and it's such a fan service to the people who love those games. Catherine, kind of a dark horse, came out of nowhere and actually sold quite well, especially for an Atlas title. And it's nothing like anything else out there. But it's because Atlas focuses on their fans, on building their fandom, and making great games. Blizzard is another one, all right? There's a reason that their games are always scheduled of basically when they're done. They try so hard, they focus so intently on making sure that if they roll out a game, it is fantastic. And by the way, for those who are going, well, Diablo 3, of course you're going to throw that out there. They have been working on it, been a full year now, and still working on it to try and make it better, to try and fix it. And honestly, once that game's been out for a year, there's not a ton of monetary reason for the company to do that. But they keep at it. They keep making the game better because they're devoted to making great games, and the money follows. So you have companies like EA, which is voted like the most hated company, which is ridiculous. I mean, there are oil companies and far worse things, but nevertheless, EA has been so focused on making money that they forgot about their gamers. Now, recently they announced they're pulling back and canceling their online pass program, to which I say it's a great first step. It really is. But that's really what it is about. You got to stop focusing on making the money and focus on making a great product, building a great fan base, and the money will follow. We will buy your games. There's all that, please take my money kind of stuff that goes on with a lot of nerds, a lot of gamers. If you just make something fantastic, you make it great, we're going to buy it. Plain and simple. You don't need tricks. You don't need to take away a 15-year-old's, $5 a month he makes off of Let's Play videos. You don't need to, whip people for buying used games with online passes. You just need to make great games that people don't want to sell. It's that simple. All right? So think about that. Game companies, think about that. And gamers, think about it when you're making your choices of what you want to buy. Is that publisher being conscious with their capitalism? Are they thinking about making great games for gamers or just making money? Think about that before you make a purchase. That does it for this BlizzPro bitch session. And of course, I'm all over, the internet, Twitter, Facebook, everything else, working on my book. It's coming out soon, all right, called Forgotten Things. You can go over to Goodreads. I'm a Goodreads author. And of course, head to BlizzPro.com, all the news, reviews, everything you need to know about Blizzard Entertainment games. We'll catch you guys next time.